My name is Paul Revere. I was born in Boston on January 1st, 1735, and I was the son of a silversmith. I went to school and learned to read and write, but left school when I was 13 to work for my father as an apprentice.
I took over his silversmith shop when my father died in 1754. I was 19 years old. I married Sarah Orne in 1757. We had 8 children. 2 of our children died. When Sarah died, I married Rachel Walker, and we had 8 children, but 3 of them died.
I made eyeglasses, fixed umbrellas, and engraved copper. When I was 65, I built the first copper mill in North America. It was in Canton.
We led a group of colonists called the Sons of Liberty, and we dumped British tea in the Boston harbor to protest taxes on the tea. I made an engraving of the Boston Massacre. On April 18, 1775, I rode out on my horse and warned colonists that the British soldiers were coming. This was the start of the Revolutionary War.
I made the copper sheeting on the dome of the State House in Boston. I was also a dentist and made teeth out of hippopotamus tusks. I worked at many jobs to pay for my big family.
My name is Deborah Sampson. When I was born on December 17, 1760, my family was very poor. I was very lucky that I got to go to school. I love to read anything with words on it. I read about taxes.
I was able to join the army without anyone knowing I was a woman. I survived a bullet to the head even when doctors and nurses thought I had died.
When I was 21 years old, I was taller and stronger than most of the men in the army, and that's why no one asked me if I was a woman. I hid a leg wound so doctors wouldn't discover that I was a woman.
I was the first soldier to receive a pension, male or female. I was a teacher before I joined the army.
My father got lost at sea when I was a child. I stayed with my uncle after I left the army. I married Benjamin Gannett and had 3 children and adopted 1 child. I earned money by giving speeches. I died in 1827 and was buried in Sharon, Massachusetts.
I'm Samuel Adams. I was born on September 27, 1722. I lived in Boston, Massachusetts. I went to Boston Latin School, then I went to Harvard University, and that was my college. John Locke was one of my favorite English philosophers. From reading the works of John Locke, it inspired me to do many things in my later life.
I married Elizabeth Checkley and had six children with her. Unfortunately, when my 6th child was born, my wife died. I tried many jobs. I worked for a merchant and became a brewer. I was very proud of my second cousin, John Adams, who was the 2nd President of the United States.
I inspired some men and they caused the Boston Tea Party, which was a group of men that dumped tea into the Boston Harbor. They thought it wasn't fair to pay taxes. I helped create a group called Sons of Liberty. The Sons of Liberty were also known as Patriots.
The Patriots thought it was unfair for England to tax us. I got to sign the Declaration of Independence, which says America is no longer part of England. I was a lieutenant governor and then a governor of Massachusetts.
I was part of the Continental Congress. I never had or wanted a horse. I created the famous quote, "No taxation without representation," which means we shouldn't have to pay taxes if we have no power.
Hi, my name is John Adams.
I was born on October 30th, 1735 in Braintree, Massachusetts. I have 2 younger brothers. When I was 16 years old, I went to Harvard College to become a minister, but I changed my mind and became a lawyer.
I married a nice woman named Abigail, and we had 6 children. 2 of our children died very young. I loved Abigail very much. We were happily married for 54 years before Abigail died in 1818.
Represented British soldiers from the Boston Massacre to be sure they had a fair trial.
I also helped write the Declaration of Independence.
When I was 53 years old, I became the first vice president. I was elected the second president of the United States in 1796.
I was the first president to live in the White House, and my wife Abigail used the East Room to dry our laundry. My son, John Quincy, became the sixth president of the United States.
Thomas Jefferson and I both died on Independence Day in 1826, just a few hours apart.